Hey y'all, quick note. While My Hero Academia was created for kids, this podcast is not safe for work or children. All trigger warnings and spoilers for each episode can be found at our website, myheroanalysis.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey y'all, this is My Hero Analysis, a podcast about My Hero Academia, aka Boku no Hero Academia. We are three grown adults who mine Japanese children's cartoons for serotonin because God knows our brains aren't making it naturally.
Hello, everyone, on this fine day. I am Wyatt, and Montero, the album, was released yesterday, finally, and I am eyeballs deep in berries and cream TikTok. So thank you, Leslie, for your services, but they will no longer be necessary. I don't need a therapist anymore because my mental illness is cured. Thank you.
Completely forgot that was dropping yesterday.
It's
I know what
fucking
I'm doing
incredible.
Later.
You will not regret.
I'm Nicole, and I have had the exact opposite reaction to the berries and cream TikTok trend. I cannot escape it. It is in my head. I can hear every single version of the quote unquote remixes on repeat in my head. And it's a personal hell. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I'm not making that any better. I keep sending you more.
Yeah, you're doing it on purpose.
I am.
Hey, y'all. I'm Maria, and apparently I cannot think properly today. So that's where I'm at. So we're going to have fun with this.
Well, you know what? This won't be nearly as dense of an episode. Thank God. Last episode was a lot to edit, but this one I think is just going to be fun and us making fun of things.
Yes, mainly ourselves.
Yeah, lots of simping will be had.
Oh my God. Yeah. Warning for that right now. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and just take a thirst break. Thirst break number 1. I'll go ahead. Just shoot. Get it all out.
Well, basically, listeners, Aizawa is here. He is coming to save everyone. All Might is also still kind of present and still a goober, and we love him. It's a lot, but mainly, Aizawa is here. I should point out that before I ever even considered watching My Hero Academia, MHA TikTok told me that I was an Aizawa simp. So arguably, none of this is actually my fault. It's TikTok's.
They got you good.
They pinned me hard.
Yeah, it knew.
Like you want Aizawa too.
I'm not even gonna lie.
So I didn't realize who I was going to thirst for in this anime because I did not come off of My Hero Academia TikTok. I was just, I needed something new to watch. So I don't even know what prompted me to watch MHA. Maybe too much free time. I don't know. But now we're here with the man, the myth, the legend, Aizawa, and I love him.
We're so happy we finally reached his plot line.
We've been trying to get to this point for so long.
I will be gently making fun of y'all today because I'm not quite as much of a simp, but honestly, when we get to Fat Gum, I'm going to be so much worse.
Yeah,
I can't say anything. It'd be totally hypocritical.
To be fair, I'm also a Fat Gum simp. So.
Oh, yeah, if you aren't a Fat Gum simp, you are obviously a psychopath, criminal, murderer person.
We mean that literally.
Yeah, you can't not like Fat Gum unless there's something wrong with you. We're saying it outright. And if you don't like it, you can leave after you give us 5 stars.
Please and thank you.
We keep telling all of our listeners to leave.
Listen, if we get they can come and go as they please. We just need those stars.
Fair. Okay, well, this week we're covering episode 5 of the anime, What I Can Do for Now, and the accompanying manga chapters this week are chapters 5 and 6. Gonna leap right into it. So the episode opens with a display of everyone's exam results, which I thought was interesting because from a US standpoint, we don't really do that, or at least not to that level of detail.
No. I think it's kind of like maybe a public GPA posting, like for those students who have good GPAs. But yeah, we don't even share exam scores unless they're like hundreds.
Yeah, I think the most we do is the top 10% of the school. And even that, we don't really publicly announce our grades. You just get told you're like the top 10%.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so thought that was interesting. Slight difference, worthy of note. Katsuki is obviously the highest scorer because he's a tryhard and we love him. Izuku got 0 quote unquote villain points, but still managed to end up in 7th place because of his ridiculous quote unquote rescue point score.
Yeah, and also in the dub, Katsuki took down the robots like an ace, and he like wasn't even phased by the 0 point giant robot, and was instead focusing on drawing in the other robots and taking them down. So he is already a really good strategist.
Bako just wanted to break things. He had us a lot.
Okay, yeah, fair.
At least he was able to let it all out for a little bit and got a high score because of it. So he's doing it right.
Yeah, both can be true.
Yeah,
both can be true.
And then we also like switched to Izuku's. Who the fuck?
Who is this Izoko? And
I don't know.
Why is he trying to impersonate our son?
Izoko. Sounds like something you spell out on a Ouija board and then your house is haunted forever.
Oh no, it's Zozo.
Should we put a trigger warning in for that?
Sure.
Anyway, moving on. Sorry,
Okay,
I got us distracted again.
It's okay. I'll start over. All right. We switched to Izuku's highlight reel where they say he's not the only one to have taken down the 0 point robot, which I think is interesting. I want to see who else has done it, but it has been like the first in a long while to do it with a single attack. And all of the judges are like, but at what cost, young man?
Yeah, it's interesting. Words.
This is the energy we've got today. Let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I got that out of my system, it's interesting to see that they're all worried that he basically destroyed his arm while he destroyed the 0 pointer too, though. So maybe they should have done something about that, but whatever. It's fine.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, it's good that they're noting that at least. This is also Aizawa's first appearance. He's leaning on the wall, all emo, cool kid. Granted, he looks pretty good here, so we're going to go ahead and take thirst break number 2.
Yep, because it is, in fact, the man, the myth, the legend, the skinny boy trash man himself, your husband and mine, Aizawa Sensei, has arrived. And he is thoroughly unimpressed with Izuku's broken limbs.
This was like the exact moment I knew I would fall in love with this man.
Yep.
I can see that.
I have a thing for emo boys and dark clothes with a look of disdain, and it gets me every time. And the crossed arms. Damn, son.
Yep.
Basically pre-packaged for y'all.
Yes. Exactly what we needed to see.
So then we've got the intro credits as per usual. And then after the intro, we are put into a flashback to the night after Izuku gets his exam results. He is meeting Small Might or Toshi on the beach. Of course, there's the obligatory blood spray when Izuku almost blows his cover by like announcing his name to the entire beach.
Yeah, and Izuku is already crying as he runs up, which is usual for our good boy. We do also get the return of the carefree bop music because Izuku is always yelling his feelings, and this creates a minor national security issue. But everything's fine because of the bop music. It's good. Also, it is the return of the cargo pants.
Yes.
I'm still living for the blood. Still living for it.
It's such a weird joke, but I've got a soft spot for it. Also, Toshi and Izuku high five, and it's really super cute. And I love their dynamic. They're adorable. Yeah. So All Might, Small Might, Toshi, whatever, he reveals that he got offered a job as a teacher and decided it was the perfect opportunity to find a successor which is why he's in Izuku's town as opposed to, I think it's Roppongi, Tokyo, which is where his agency is.
Yeah, and All Might does mention that UA doesn't know that they're a mentor-mentee team. So Izuku has essentially gotten in all on his own merit rather than like All Might's recommendation. Also in the dub, All Might calls Izuku's info dump about his own agency creepy.
Oh, in the sub, he just says, "Stop that."
But I mean, it is kind of creepy though, that he knows all these little minute details. And the fact that All Might was in town to find a successor already at UA and instead chose Izuku, this triggers like a crisis of confidence for Izuku. And I feel like that is going to follow him for a while.
Yeah, that's expected.
Yeah, we
baby.
know that poor baby just needs to understand that he's got what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that All Might emphasizes that Deku got in there on his own merit. It goes to show how much AM really cares about his son and how much he knows him at this point.
Yeah, in the subs he goes, "I figured you'd be stressing out about that." It's just, that was very sweet.
Yeah, so comforting. Good boy.
He's not entirely clueless.
No, very clueless, but not entirely clueless.
It's a fine distinction, but he makes it. So then they segue into a discussion of One for All and how Izuku can't control it yet. This is the first introduction of the, I don't know what to call this, the percentage visualization exercise. Mm-hmm. Basically, All Might's theory is that Izuku right now is either at 0% or 100%. So he's using none of One for All, or he's using far, far too much. But if he can control how much he uses, he should be able to control it better because his body will be able to keep up. There's, the chalice metaphor returns, torch metaphor, all the metaphors. I love when All Might goes, "Yeah, that's deep." Like, you're such a goober. I love you.
In the dub, he narrates himself and he says it's deep stuff, all right. And basically, he fully believes that Izuku will eventually outshine him and he will be able to retire. So I guess that's nice that they have like this plan in place for their own future.
Yeah.
This kind of falls to the wayside when we get to later arcs, but it is nice now.
Yeah.
And then they have to run away from All Might's fans because didn't he like blow himself back up?
Yeah. He got so like into everything that he just puffed back up.
Yeah, no, my mind, while they were talking about this, directly went to the Lilo and Stitch movie, in which Lilo was describing Stitch's goodness meter, and I just I cried, I died.
It's perfect. It totally fits.
Yes, it does.
Maybe we should just show Izuku, Lilo, and Stitch so he doesn't have to think about eggs and microwaves.
Oh,
yes. Also, again, with Small Might, All Might, not telling Izuku this might happen. Again, sir, you had months. However, his unending belief in Izuku to surpass him is just, it's great. I love it.
Yeah. Right now, anyway.
Yeah. However, torch metaphors are actually pretty common in anime, especially in shonen.
Okay.
There are quite a few animes where not necessarily the power is passed down, but like the feelings are passed down and nurtured. One that I can think of off the top of my head, because I love this anime so much and it's in my head constantly, is Fairy Tail, where the guild master absolutely believes in his kids that they will be stronger and they will get stronger, and they do. And it's like a straight shot to the feels.
Oh, I like that. So flash forward to Izuku getting ready for his first day of school. Sweet Inko is hovering and Izuku is getting annoyed, and for once acting like a normal teenager. Yeah. And I love when she tells him he looks cool.
She's such a good mom. Also, Izuku being like a regular teenage butthole for a minute is really nice. Like, it reminds us, like, yes, he is in fact still just a kid. But also his uniform is very adorable.
Yeah, It is. I love these scenes because there is just so few chances of him acting like a typical high schooler, and each
Mhm.
of them are so precious. Also, I love Inko and Suku's relationship. You can tell how proud his mama is of him.
Yeah, she's so proud. And then we get another explanation of Yue's acceptance rate as Izuku gets to school and finds his classroom. 1 in 300 is the number given again, so there's consistency this time. However, that is only for entrance exam kids. That's not for recommendation kids, and there are 4 recommendation kids total per year. And Maria, is this the thing? Because it's come up in a couple anime now, so I'm assuming it's like a trope in general, like recommendation kids.
Yeah, it is. So school recommendations in Japan can happen if like the children are children of alumni,
Okay.
or if they have like a special skill set and they have been actively scouted. I think the closest parallel I can think of is how sororities and fraternities have legacies,
Mhm.
which are kids of people who have been in those same Greek houses before.
Right.
And then the actively scouted kids usually are those who have gotten recognition for one thing or another and have been actively invited to the school. The closest thing I can think of for that is how athletes are scouted in high school for different university sports. So it's kind of like that.
Okay, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
So for UA, the hero course is split into 2 classes, 1A and 1B. Izuku is in class 1A. There's no official canon confirmation about how the kids are sorted into these classes, whether there's some kind of standard or whether it's random.
Yeah, and it is also interesting that he doesn't even mention the 3 other like education courses that the other students essentially get slotted into.
Yeah, well, usually specialized schools in Japan, it's sorted by standing within the school.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm assuming is happening here. And also, I'm not surprised I didn't mention the other courses. Our boy is super hyper focused on one thing.
That's
fair.
true.
Yeah.
That is very fair. He's probably never given those other courses like a single thought. So Izuku approaches his classroom. He notices that the door is huge, like really, really enormous, presumably for kids with like heteromorphic traits that make them large.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So also Izuku really needs to work on his heteromorphic ignorance. And I'm hoping that is actually part of the curriculum at UA.
That would be nice.
Yeah, probably also there for the convenience of the teachers as well, because as we've seen, there's a lot of different sizes of teachers. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so Izuku opens the door and it's amazing. It's Katsuki and Ida interacting, fucking weirdos in such different ways. I love them so much. Katsuki, your feet, the desk. Yeah, I've been over this before. We all know how I feel. Moving on.
I love that Izuku was literally worried about Katsuki and Ida being in the same class, and then there they were proving his fears. Ida is Wyatt's son because he is also very concerned about Katsuki's feet being on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
And Bakugo just sneers at him like a dick, and I love him so much. She's such an asshole. Then as like Ida is, what is it, like disciplining him already?
Yeah.
Because that's Ida's job, like his self-appointed role in life. Katsuki replies with, "Your old school put a stick up your ass, or were you born with it?" Like, sir, that is a very good insult. Very good job. A+. Oh gosh. Okay. Ida then reintroduces himself and he says he's from Some, and Bakugo like immediately accuses him of thinking he's better than him. And like, Bakugo, honey, we need to talk about your inferiority complex.
Yep.
Because when he like explodes at him, Ida is just very alarmed. He's like, what'd I do?
I love that this is the interaction that Izuku walks into. It definitely establishes the differences in Bakugo's and Ida's personalities, and I love it. Also, I guess I should mention this. Japan actually has like house shoes for schools. I cannot speak today. Oh Lord.
It's okay.
So they legit have different shoes for school, so it's a lot more sanitary, and they're mostly made out of cloth. I never minded the feet on the table because I can't sit straight to save my life and have done something similar. Sorry, Wyatt.
Yeah,
I know. I used to live with you.
I also put my feet on the table when it's comfortable. I'm not sorry.
I mean, I will say the house shoes is a great idea. I'm not convinced that it's significantly more sanitary, but it's fine. We'll move on.
At least they're not bringing dirt from outside. So
That's true. That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Izuku is concerned. And then Ida approaches Izuku and he apologizes. My sweet boy, you don't have to flagellate yourself.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of does. That's his whole shtick. And basically, when Izuku like walks in, Ida noticing him causes the entire class to also like look at Izuku, and like my social anxiety just paralyzed myself watching this. And then Ida like literally marches over to Izuku like a goober, like he like some weird combination of military and goober. That is Ida. And he like properly introduces himself. And Ida is also convinced that Izuku is very perceptive and obviously knew that the exam had other stuff going around for scoring. And Izuku is just very confused as to what he's even talking about.
Izuku immediately stopping Ida from reintroducing himself is absolutely adorable. And the rigid march, Ida, please.
God, I love him. I love everything about him. He's so ridiculous. But Ochako is also in this class. Yay! So she pops up, recognizes Izuku immediately. He is a blushy boy. Like every bisexual, he's got impeccable taste in one gender and interesting taste in another gender.
And Izuku does finally start his first actual conversation with them both instead of just staring at them and blushing like he did at the exam. Also, Ochako immediately recognizes Izuku by his messy hair from the back. And I just thought that was really sweet. And finally, Katsuki is already glaring and eavesdropping already. Sir, I'm gonna need you to take it down a few notches. It's the first day of class.
Oh God, him and his eavesdropping. We'll get to
it. Yeah, we will.
First, as a bisexual, can confirm, not proud of some of my tastes. Ochako is the greatest. So sweet. I'm so happy she got in. Mm-hmm. And then Katsuki, I cannot speak.
Bakugo
is secretly a chismosa, which is Spanish for gossiper, but an angry chismosa. I'm here for it.
Perfect. Yeah, that's him to a T.
Oh my God, that's so true.
Right?
He's so fucking nosy.
And he knows everything.
Everything. I'm just imagining like him sitting with the tias in a corner, glaring at all the kids. Like that would be him.
Mm-hmm. It would.
That's why his explosions are so big. They're full of secrets. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
I'm not going to forgive you for that.
So, back to the episode, we get a flashback of, I love how I'm always like, back to the episode, but every single time, I'm the one that gets us off track.
Yeah, you're the tangent person in this trio, not us.
Yeah, it's my fault. But anyway, back to the episode. We get a flashback of Katsuki and Izuku at their old school, learning that they both got in, and Katsuki is not happy because he wanted to be a unique, special, magical girl. And Izuku stands up for himself for the first time, even though he's scared. My brave boy.
Yep. Also, like the teacher is congratulating them both, but while simultaneously putting Izuku down like a dick. And Katsuki like immediately attacks Izuku. Katsuki thinks he cheated and is also mad that Izuku did ruin his dream of being the only, as Wyatt says, unique, special, magical girl from their crap school to go to UA.
I swear, these teachers, principals at these schools are such shitheads. If I ever happen to fall into the world of MHA, I will specifically go to that school and throw hands. I don't care if I end up in a special super jail.
I'll come with.
People going down.
Yeah, I'll come
We'll
with you
all
too.
come.
Yeah, they're going to catch hands. Also, in this little frame right before Katsuki tries to fight Izuku, I realized that Izuku is so much shorter than Katsuki right now and like so much rounder in the face. And just thinking about where he is now in the manga and even now in the anime, he's just so much sharper. And I want him to go back to little baby face.
I know. God, this episode like really emphasized just how much they've grown since this time. And I want them to stop growing up. Not allowed. Stay baby forever.
Keep being cute and adorable.
Yeah. And now like in the alley, like right after the scene in the like principal's office or whatever it is, as Katsuki is like trying to intimidate him, Izuku, as he stands up for himself, he says that someone that he looks up to has encouraged him, and that's why he's going to UA, like no matter what Katsuki had warned him before. He's not crying exactly, but his eyes are like shining, and he says, like it or not, you can't stop me. And like, finally, my good broccoli boy, he has stood up for himself. Good job. And Katsuki is just blown away.
Yes, he did so good.
I love how Izuku is finally growing a backbone. He really needed to learn to appreciate himself a lot more. I think getting into UA and having AM really has helped him grow as a person, but like he still needs some work.
Oh yeah, we're definitely still in the beginning stages of his arc right now. Also, God, it is so weird watching these again after getting caught up in the manga. Like just the difference, especially with Katsuki, his behavior that like in this episode versus like now, just he's such a pick-me girl right now. He grows up a lot.
I can't get over that you're calling Bakugo a pick-me girl.
Well, right now he kind of is.
I'm not arguing with
wrong.
it. No, they're not wrong. I'm just saying, it's amazing that you put those two together. I love it. All right. So, and then back to the present, and Katsuki like thinks like he gets his own little tiny narration in this moment. He says, I'm going to ruin that little bastard right after I figure out how he got in. Like, sir, your feelings. You need to examine them and actually feel them rather than just being mad at them. Also in this frame, it really looks like he's wearing mascara, which I appreciate.
Okay.
He's an emo boy with anger and angst.
Yeah. So obviously he would have mascara or eyeliner or something.
Obviously.
Go back to that scene and like look at his eyelashes. It's kind of obvious.
Oh no, I agree with you. I think he would totally go for that kind of look.
Yeah, exactly. And also Izuku is still blushing while Ochako is just talking to him like a completely normal person. So they all need to work on their social skills.
Oh God, teenagers. I don't miss it at all.
Nope.
All right, so now we're going to take another thirst break. This is our third one for Aizawa's second appearance. Take it away.
Aizawa returneth horizontally for some reason on the floor. His perfection.
He poppeth from the depths of hell. Just my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And he says, welcome to UA's hero course. And he slurps his nutritional jelly. Which, Wyatt, you also thought it was a juice box for the longest time.
I did. I thought it was a juice box. I thought he was sipping juice.
And then I helped with finding out that no, it is nutritional jelly.
Yep.
That is actually pretty common in most Asian cultures.
Yep.
In my head, it's always going to be appy juice.
Yeah. I mean, it can also be appy juice. That can be our thing. So it was at this point that Wyatt texted me completely horrified in my choice in simping. They were very disappointed, and I remember just cackling on my couch. And I believe you called him Caterpillar Man or something.
I I probably did. I wasn't quite horrified at this point. Unsurprised, tad bit disappointed. But then he opened his mouth and started speaking, and then I was horrified. It took me a while to warm up to him. I'm fully warmed up to him now, but I didn't like him very much in this episode.
Yeah, when he first came on screen, you were just, I think you were just disappointed in me as a person.
Look at your life. Look at your standards.
My standards are perfect. Excuse you.
My standards are not, but it's okay.
Okay. Back to the actual episode. All the children, in the doorway, are horrified. Like when they see him on the ground behind them. It does turn out to just be a yellow sleeping bag because he needs his naps or something. Like they didn't even realize he was just a guy. They're just fully confused as to why this man is laying down in the middle of the hallway.
Same.
This was the moment I knew I was in for the long run with this man.
Yeah,
I love my
same.
sleep too. And if I could, I too would live in a warm sleeping bag with jelly packs. I think Wyatt definitely questioned our choices, but you know what? I regret nothing.
Not a thing. Aizawa is perfect.
I will say as silly as it is, the sleeping bag is an inspired choice, and I would like to replicate that in real life. My issue was, as I said, when he started speaking, he was like, it took you 8 seconds for you to get quiet. You kids are not rational enough. And I don't know what it was. I think the rationality comments triggered my incel fight or flight response, and it chose fight. Definitely not what was intended, but that's just what happened.
Yeah. When I read that note, I just laughed out loud because I thought when he first came on screen and started talking, I just thought he was like a super strict teacher or something, something more normal. But you went straight to incel, which I guess explains why he's not your husband. Also, he does unzip the sleeping bag in this moment and reveals the outfit, the black jumpsuit, the scarf, the messy hair. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the dub, he does say stuff like time is precious. Rational students would understand that. Like, honey, baby, husband. No, not really. You're playing all your cards way too close to your chest.
See, I had already accepted it because every anime has that gruff sensei and is absolutely like this. They give no shits. Honestly, he's on the Madler spec of the men I sent for in anime, so.
Oh dear.
Goes to show maybe I do have questionable taste, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, Horikoshi definitely loosens him up quite a bit as time goes on, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, the kids find out that this dude is going to be their homeroom teacher, and that's why he's here.
Yep, and the entire class is just flummoxed. They're all staring at him with his sleeping bag. And we do finally see the whole class in this one little shot, which I was excited for.
No fucks given on his arrival. Look at all the undiscovered future kids. I love them so much.
So adoptable.
Yep. The first thing Izuku notices about Aizawa is that he looks so worn out. But he also comments that if he is at UA, he must be a pro hero. So that was a nice little slice of world building there.
Yeah. And then Aizawa tells them to go put on gym uniforms and go outside. No explanation or lead up. Just do this thing.
Yep. Then the completely inexplicable thing of him having stored their gym outfits in his sleeping bag, which he was also laying in, which I didn't understand. I thought it was weird until I realized. Caught up watchers and readers will know that Aizawa loves cats, right? Like he's a cat guy. He definitely scent marked the outfits because he can't show his emotions and his affection outright. So like a freaking cat, he just got his scent on their gym clothes. Like, sir, you are a traumatized goober and I love you. It's going to be okay.
I absolutely love that he is essentially a cat. Oh, I love him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
My perfect husband. So weird.
Well, Okay, so
No, you're not even going to comment on that. That was a brilliant observation.
no, it is. I don't know how I feel about it.
Wyatt can't process them right now.
Oh my God, that's so fucking funny. Okay, so cut to Small Knight in some kind of teacher's lounge, I'm assuming, and he's providing more exposition re Aizawa. So apparently who your homeroom teacher is can really affect your experience at UA. So they give homeroom teachers a lot of power.
Yeah, and also I want to point out that Toshi is like reading the entire school directory like a dork. I
Aw.
never read the books that the school gave out. I don't know anybody else who did.
I did, but that's because I'm a
Aw.
weirdo.
He just wants to get to know his fellow teachers.
And
He's
on-
trying.
And I mean, if you're not able to do anything, like I would just like pick up something and read it. It didn't matter what it was.
There's that. There's that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Also, being in a specialized school, I'm not surprised. There's actually quite a few animes where if you're not up to a certain standard or expectation, you literally get yeeted.
So like in other animes, school teachers have the same kind of level of power.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Food Wars is like that.
That's true. I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just a
Yeah.
lot of weird foodgasms in that one. It distracted you.
Yeah. I think all the strangers distracted me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so cut scene to class 1A on the lawn. And instead of typical first day activities like an orientation, they will be having a quirk assessment test.
Yep. And we do finally get our first shots of other students that we haven't met yet, including some of our favorites, Suyu,
Whoop, whoop.
Sero, and Kirishima,
My baby.
our baby, our shared baby.
Yes. My
they all have-
apologies.
They all have like stunned blank looks on their face, like they're afraid of what Aizawa is about to do, which is fair. And then finally, we also see Shoto in the corner, completely unimpressed, completely blank in the face. He is totally in his depression.
Oh.
Sir, my child, are you okay? Probably not.
Shoto! My emo son! Oh, how I have missed you. You and your completely blank face which probably is just your two brain cells fighting to keep you alive.
Aww.
Uh,
Sweet Shoto.
So much.
Yeah,
Oh,
listeners should know that Shoto is Maria's son, like Bakugo is mine and Ida is Wyatt's.
Mm-hmm.
And we also love him equally. He's a good boy.
Honestly, is there any of them we don't love? Like, I know I didn't cheer for Zero, but I was cheering for him in my heart.
We don't like Mineta.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Fuck that child. All of the others, we love
Yeah.
them so much. They
Yeah,
are literal children.
Yeah, literally every other child in 1A is our child, but like these three are our favorites.
Yeah. So in the past, the kids have been doing physical assessments in school without using their quirks. So this is their first chance to do all of those same assessments, but finally they get to use them.
Yeah. And apparently they test like all kinds of physical abilities in Japanese schools. I do not remember being measured on how hard I could throw a ball. I just remember we had to do laps and we played dodgeball and ping pong. And then we did tennis for like a week where I forgot to drink water and nearly passed out on the walk back
Oh.
inside.
Honey,
No asking for help. We die like socially anxious dumbass men.
my God, I'm going to go back in time, find younger you and just adopt you.
Good luck. I probably would not speak to you even if you did adopt me.
That's fine. That's fine. I can be patient.
Also, real quick, in this one little, like barely a second of the scene, Aizawa is so nice to Bakugo. Like he's not standoffish at all, like he becomes later. And like thinking back on it, he's been trying to get Bakugo to calm down since day one. Like he's the goodest teacher and the best husband.
You're right, though. That's a good point.
He is. So physical fitness is actually pretty common. So in Japan, it usually has to do with endurance and flexibility. I did have to do quite a few growing up, like how many sit-ups you could do in a minute, push-ups, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds familiar, I guess, but it was more about the dodgeball.
Yeah, I definitely remember being tested on like flexibility, grip strength. A lot of the same things are being tested on here. So I think
Yeah,
it might differ from area to area.
pretty much. I do think this type of physical test is important because it gives Aizawa a chance to gauge their abilities and learn a little bit more about them. So
Mhm.
I think it's a pretty smart way to get a feel of his students. So
Yeah, yeah. He's
Absolutely.
he's very good at his job.
could he
In
have
some
waited
ways,
a
yeah.
day?
It's
But this is Aizawa. It's fine.
fine.
Yeah, well, he definitely gets a pretty good sense of his kids' personalities today because Katsuki's up first and he screams die as he throws his ball.
I do want to point out, like, the only Japanese word I've picked up so far is shine, which is die, which is what Bakugo says all the time. And also in the dub, I don't think he yells die. He's in his head, he's like, I'll add a little heat to my pitch and drop their jaws. Like, sir, you're flexing and I love it, but you're such a weirdo.
Such a teenager.
Boy lives for being extra.
Yeah.
He's so dramatic. Also, Izuku is shooketh by his pitch.
Yeah.
You already know Izuku's already like mentally calculating how much that would hurt if he was the one hit and or mentally preparing to add it to his notebook because he absolutely has to know everything about Bakugo.
Oh yeah, the calculative part of his brain is just going full steam ahead. And so the reason they're doing this is because Aizawa believes that knowing your quirk's upper limits is the first step to being a hero, and he's not wrong. Like, that definitely gives you a concrete starting point, and then you can build more complicated stuff onto that later. So if you're introducing someone, this is a good way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And also in the dub, he kind of goes a different way. And he says, the country is still trying to pretend we're all created equal by not letting those with the most power excel. It's not rational. One day, the Ministry of Education will learn. And like, sir, you have just speared your own society and hammering home one of the themes. Good job, husband.
Okay, is that the exact phrasing that he uses?
Yes. Yes. I paused it several times to get it right.
That is so weird, especially that first sentence, because like that first sentence isn't in the subs at all.
Yeah. I think it's almost like a callback to the very first episode where Izuku's sub and dub were so different.
Yeah, his phrasing is really odd too. Like, I don't know if I'm just thinking this because of where we're at in the anime, like right now, the most current episodes, but it almost sounds like Liberation Army-esque, and it just doesn't seem like that would be Aizawa. That's odd.
I mean, he is coming to UA from all that time working on the Vigilantes arcs. It seems more in character with that part of his past to me, maybe. I don't
know. I just think it's weird. I don't know why they put it in.
I don't know. It was hot. Does it need a reason?
Yeah, I don't like the wording. I'm gonna pick at it.
Okay, you pick at it. You do that. Okay. I'm just gonna slowly move on.
Sounds good.
Also, Aizawa's voice, like his English voice actor, isn't like deepening his voice as it is in later seasons. Just like Bakugo's and like sweet baby baboos. They had no idea what they were getting into when they signed these contracts.
Real strain on the vocal cords.
Yeah. And then next, Aizawa says, you have to know your maximum capabilities. It's the only rational way to figure out your potential as a pro hero. And I mean, he is very correct. He's just not very like fluffy or snuggly about it. And then finally, before the other shoe drops, we do get closer shots of the rest of 1A here, including Jiro, Tokoyami, Hagakure, Denki, Momo, Mineta, who is also staring at Momo's butt, but could also be argued he's staring at Denki's butt. So fodder for the future fires we are going to address. And then also Sato and Ojiro, and then Mina. And then they also confirmed that Shoji and Aoyama are in the class as well.
Yeah, we really get a look at the whole group here. So everyone's excited to get going and finally use their quirks, but here's the big reveal. Whoever comes in last place after all the tests will be expelled. Dun dun dun.
Aizawa would be like, wrong children, no fun to be had today.
And then you've got Toshi lurking in the background who's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, it's Aizawa. Young Midoriya is shit out of luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously Izuku is freaking out because he can't control his quirk yet.
Mm-hmm.
Poor boy just can't catch a break. He's like a ball of anxiety all over again and immediately starts going into the worst case scenario. Poor baby.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, your anxiety. I did love that Ochako very bravely stood up to Aizawa and is like, bro, what the fuck? And Aizawa launches into his whole life isn't fair rant. And again, he's not wrong, but like, sir, maybe don't take your trauma out on your students.
Yeah. His delivery could probably use a little work. But he's basically making the very correct point that natural disasters are also not fair, nor are power-hungry villains. And we do get a shot of the sludge villain with Bakugo. And then nor are accidents. The world is full of unfairness is his quote in the dub. And of course, I just went straight to Cloud Boy. So I almost started crying.
Yeah, I do get what Aizawa is trying to teach. He has seen his fair share of unfairness, but dude, these kids just got in. At least wait till the second day.
We need to get past what's it called? Syllabus day.
Yes, at least get past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, delivery. Do we need to take thirst break number 4 or are we good?
I mean, I have a whole bunch of notes on the finger crook.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and take another thirst break for the finger crook little scene that TikTok is obsessed with.
Yeah, Wyatt made the note that it would be the thing that got me excited. And in fact, it did not. I'm much more taken with the fan edit of it just being him giving the middle finger to the camera.
Yeah, that is more your speed.
Yeah, like for me, it was the little smile he does during his speech, aka the thirst gif seen around the world. It's also where he calls the kids idiots. That's rude. They don't teach that in education classes. But the creepy smile is so hot. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Nothing, darling, nothing.
Also, before the finger crook is the other gif seen around the world. There is another little scene lit where he like lifts his hair out of his face and stares at the students really creepily. I'm not really like in love with that one, but it's definitely the intensity for me. He don't have time for pansy students. And then he does say, show me it's no mistake that you're here, which is hot and also useful for world building, which I appreciate.
Yeah, for me, once I settle on a character to thirst for, I don't specifically see one thing, but the whole being.
Yes, yeah.
So it's purely vibe. Maria out here, the vibrating master. Oh my God, that sounded horrible. It sounded like I said vibrating. Good God, that's getting cut. Okay.
No, don't cut it.
I love it.
I meant to say Maria is the vibe reading master.
There we go.
Nice. So
Honestly,
yeah,
pretty on brand to who I am as a person. So I'm not even mad.
oh Lord. So Aizawa makes his little declaration / challenge, cue a whole bunch of very adorable, determined little baby faces, and they're going to prove him wrong. God damn it.
Yeah. Ida does not approve of Aizawa's methods because obviously it's Ida. But he does take a sip of his orange juicy because he's determined to do this right. And then Izuku is just like, oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
Ida must hydrate or die. Izuku must rev up or die. Izuku must anxiety and die.
Oh God. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, the physical tests are pretty standard stuff that we've all done in gym class. Mostly this is just a really good way to introduce everyone's quirks.
Yep. And it does also start Present Mike's introduction of a person's quirk whenever they're introduced. And he runs through Ida, Bakugo, Ochako, and Aoyama since they didn't get their little DJ introduction in the first few episodes. Aoyama, I want to point out, doesn't even run on like the little sprint thing and uses his naval laser to like blast himself towards the finish line. But he only makes it halfway and he falls down and Mina beats him. And then he explains to the Baku squad minus Bakugo that shooting my beam for more than a minute hurts my tummy. And they just all call him a tool.
Sir, it's the lactose intolerance.
I love Aoyama's sparkle and nonchalance in this.
Yeah. Oh, he's wonderful. Also like, I have to point out that it is like the Baku squad. It's like the only time they're all really together. Sero, Mina, Kirishima, and Denki. Like, is this where it started and they just kind of slid Bakugo in? I don't know.
Yeah,
I like
the
to
whole thing
think
is
it.
confusing to me. I mean, it's cute.
Yeah.
Don't really know where it came from.
Well, we did come in late to the fandom, so we didn't
That's
see it
true.
grow.
Yeah, we missed its evolution. Darn.
After that, Katsuki says in the dub, my power has more uses than anyone else at the school. And then he immediately looks to Izuku for a comment. And then Izuku doesn't actually comment. And so Bakugo calls Izuku pathetic.
Izuzuko and Bakugo.
Yeah.
So when I first watched this around this time, I was still on the I Hate Bakugo club. And I really, really wanted to slap him upside the head to knock some sense into him. I don't mind it as much now, but sometimes that inkling rears its head but it's fine.
Stop being mean to my son.
He's grown a lot.
Yeah.
And rewatching this just makes it so clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love him, but it's not because I want to be mean to him. It's just he makes it so easy.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, so then we get another flashback to the beach scene again. Toshi and Izuku are still discussing how to use One for All without Izuku breaking every single bone in his body.
Yeah, it is one of several very vague lessons with All Might.
You must feel the force to be the force.
No.
Love my Star Wars reference, Nicole.
No, it's too vague. I need details, All Might and Yoda and whoever the heck else.
Well, Izuku can offer you an egg in a microwave. Is
No.
that specific enough for you?
I mean, I guess because it works for him, but I feel like All Might needed to take some education lessons before this. When Izuku does come up with this metaphor of his power being an egg in a microwave and he just has to not explode it, All Might does laugh and his blood comes out and he just finds it bloody hilarious.
Honestly, I feel like Izuku had food on his mind that day.
Probably.
Yeah, he was probably hungry now that he's not anxious about getting into UA anymore.
Oh God, yeah, he probably just shoved food in his face. Also, apparently they got results 3 weeks before school starts, so Izuku has some time to visualize.
Yeah, not enough.
Yeah, no, not enough. So the episode moves along, progress through more tests. Everyone's quirks allow them to get an incredible score on at least one of them. And then there's poor sweet baby Izuku just doing cardio and trying his best.
He's doing calisthenics.
Also, should we discuss Minetta's octopuses are sexy line?
Yes, we should. And we are going to discuss it in the manga differences section at the bottom of the episode.
Okay, yeah, we should probably start doing things in the correct order.
We can mention them so we can keep listeners listening. But yeah, we're going to discuss it because it comes into play for Binetta.
Oh God.
All this motherfucking time.
Yeah, this whole time.
I love how Uchako easily knocked Bakugo's throwing ball score just out of the park, and how she didn't even give a fuck. And she just,
She just, yep.
infinity. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then we get to Izuku's ball throw, and he's like, okay, this is the time I'm going to use One for All to get a really, really good score on this test, at least. At this point, Katsuki he still thinks Izuku is quirkless and tricked his way into the exam.
Yeah. And when he calls him quirkless out loud for the first time at UA, and Ida is just like, bro, he has a quirk. Where you been?
Ida was like, that's now my friend, must protect at all costs.
Oh, my boy. I love him. And then Izuku is still standing at the plate where he's about to throw. And for once, he's having flashbacks to nice things people said about him.
Yeah.
The fact that it took this long for him to realize that people have nice things to say to him feels so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Poor baby.
Yeah, but he uses that as motivation, and he revs up One for All in his arm, and then Aizawa nullifies Izuku's quirk.
Yep. And we pan to Aizawa, whose scarf is now floating around himself, saying fuck you to all kinds of physics. And how the capture weapon works in that manner is never explained.
It's anime physics. They can never be explained.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense. But also, his hair is floating. And I did enjoy that bit. And basically, he now goes on to his Izuku rant, and he tells him that the judges for this exam were not rational enough. We're not rational enough. Someone like you should never be allowed to enroll at this school. Harsh, bro.
Yeah. Also, did the dubs have him use the word rational in like every single sentence?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad I didn't watch those first. I have watched the dubs, but it's been a really long time, so I don't really remember what's in them.
Like, it was weird for me because, again, MHA is like one of my first animes that I've like really watched and paid attention to. Mm-hmm. So I was like, is this like a thing in anime, or is it just him? And you figure out it is just him. And then
it's just Aizawa.
But by then you're already in love with him, so it's okay.
Yeah. So Aizawa nullifies Izuku's quirk. His hair floats, his capture weapon scarf thing floats. So this is the reveal that Aizawa is a pro hero. His pro hero name is Eraserhead, and his quirk is that he erases other people's quirks by basically staring at them really hard, but basically he has to maintain constant eye contact.
Yeah. Anyway, Izuku recognizes his goggles, like the fanboy that he is. Some of the students haven't heard of him, but it sounds like Suyu's voice is who says he works on the down low.
Yeah, Izuku really do be out here knowing everything about heroes. His obsession is really big.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got All Might creeping around a corner, and he reveals that he and Aizawa don't get along, and that All Might believes that this might be influencing Aizawa's behavior towards Izuku.
Yeah. And Aizawa doesn't like the media because he thinks they interfere with his work, which is true. Mm-hmm. And he also judges celebrity heroes like All Might because he looks good in the spotlight, which I kind of like this little dose of arrogance from All Might. And a nice balance to his general goofballness.
For sure. This cues a pretty brutal, but also in this case, I'm fully on board, totally necessary lecture about how putting yourself at unnecessary risk does not a hero make, and it's not acceptable behavior.
Yeah, definitely. He is unimpressed with Izuku's tendency to break his bones and then rely on somebody else to help him when his body becomes useless. Mm-hmm. And that's a very good point. Like, you can't just be out doing hero work, breaking your arm and having to have backup come in every time. And then he like yanks Izuku closer with his scarf to like explain his reasoning and be like very intense right up in his face. And in the dub, he says, it doesn't matter what your intentions are. You would be nothing more than a liability in battle. Like, he recognizes he has All Might's same drive, but he points out that he's useless if he can only throw a single punch, no matter how intense his drive is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as much as I hate our boy being lectured, it is something that Deco really needed to hear. He has to take into consideration all aspects of him not controlling his quirk. And while it is pretty rough. He needed to hear it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely. And so Aizawa kind of sets up this choice for Izuku. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. He sets up a situation to imply that there are only two choices for Izuku. He can either use his quirk and break all his bones, or give up and then not use his quirk and then score lowest on all these tests and then get expelled. But either way, he's got zero potential.
Yep, exactly. And in the dub, he says, sorry, Midoriya, with your power, there's no way you can become a hero. And this is a direct inversion of all of Izuku's beliefs about needing just any kind of power to become a hero. But we do get the first look at the deep stratifications that run through hero society, the pro-hero industry, and the new levels of prejudice and boxed in thinking in this world. Good job, Aizawa. Very smart.
Yeah, it's a good juxtaposition to show that maybe what Midoriya has been believing up until this point might not exactly be the mindset to go by. Aizawa already knows how the pro-hero world is and wants to show that power isn't everything, but just a small part of what it takes to be a hero as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. And his little speech right there is also interesting because it's all a deflection off his own belief that powers can become heroic once they've been trained enough, which we'll see later with a certain 1C student and within the Vigilante spinoff that Aizawa grows in his character during.
Yeah.
Basically, he wants Izuku to prove himself to go beyond what he's capable of doing right now, but to do it in a smart way. And then like pulling back from that little scene, we do get a scene where Ida and Katsuki are bickering again. And we also get a scene where Aoyama tries to flirt with Ochako, which I never noticed before. And Ochako is just like, who are you?
Oh, Aoyama, you don't know how to socialize at all.
Oh, poor baby. Poor French boy.
Uh-huh.
And then while Izuku is basically pondering how to do this, Aizawa does give himself eye drops. And this reveals a very well-rounded nature of his quirk, which is like very much the opposite of what I've seen of like the all-powerful erasure trope that is a lot more recognizable, at least in the media that I've consumed.
Yeah. I also think that the way Aizawa sets up these choices was very deliberate on her Horikoshi's part. Because this scene is the first instance of Izuku creating his own options when he appears to be backed into a corner. And this is going to be a recurring thing throughout the rest of the story.
Yep. Beautiful. Izuku knows Aizawa is right. If he can't control his quirk, there's no way he can ever become a hero.
Yeah.
This is probably the first instance we get to see him actually trying to work out his quirk in the very Deku manner. We get to see his analytical power in deciphering how to best to go about using his quirk. And I think this is also very much a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, definitely. And then just to pull some direct quotes from the subs, two phrases that stuck out to me are, I have to work a lot harder than other people, and I'll do what I can right now. And I like both of those phrases a lot, especially put together. And so Izuku figures out a way to channel One for All into just one finger instead of his whole arm, which is his current interpretation of the percentage visualization. And he is actually able to throw the ball pretty fucking far just using that. He did break his finger, or well, pulverize his finger. But if he can work through the pain, then he can finish the fitness tests, is his, like, that's the choice that he made here.
Yeah, exactly. I would argue that it's not like fully broken because he can still move it on its own. And like I was always told growing up, if you can still move it, it's not broken.
Either that or it's completely jelly, so he can move it.
Yeah, I think in my head, when I say broken, what I mean is the bone is completely shattered into a ton of teeny tiny little pieces. And that's why his finger's just flopping around.
Gross. Thanks for that visual.
Now you know why I hate this so much.
Also, I do want to point out that Izuku like gets almost the same score as Bakugo did, which is very nice on the like rival mirroring trope we've got going on.
Yeah. Also, All Might is impressed. Aizawa is also pretty impressed that Izuku managed to think his way around this little logic puzzle that Aizawa gave him. So he's like, okay, good job, kid.
Yep. And we get like one tiny little shot of Katsuki just completely floored.
We will get to that next episode.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. And then how Aizawa said this kid, I was shooketh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. That was a nice little addition. So basically, for the wrap up, Izuku shows Aizawa that he's not useless. Aizawa is heckin' impressed. All Might is impressed too because he points out that he minimized the damage and he maximized the output. And then in the dub, his line is, "How did you go and get so cool?"
Yeah, he says something really similar in the subs. It's really cute.
He's
Yeah.
such a goober.
All Might is always so proud of his kid, especially knowing he had no powers to speak of and already out here making people change their minds.
I know.
Mhm. He's doing so good. So then we get the end credits, and then after that we get a preview. So we're gonna be in All Might's class next, and it's battle training. Ochako and Izuku versus Ida and Katsuki. Izuku is gonna put on bunny ears. Ochako, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, in the dub, she says, "Look at Deku's bunny ears. Oh my goodness, they're so cute."
They kind of terrify me a bit.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to terrify you. It's silly, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. Also, I think we can assume, based on the preview, that Izuku doesn't get expelled. So, a tiny bit spoilery.
It's fine.
All right. Well, that's the episode. So now I'm going to hand things over to Nicole.
Yep. So basically, we're going to start with the manga differences. And in this one, there is actually one pretty big difference that we've already kind of touched on. In the dub, Mineta doesn't say the line. And this line has become very important to Mineta's character in recent weeks and months. So in the manga, in chapter 6 on page 9 in the Shonen Jump app, in the bottom left panel, Mineta is watching Shoji do the grip strength test where he scores really high. And he essentially calls Shoji a sexy octopus. Now, we didn't really pick up on it from there because I think, at least me, I was thinking of it in the Tentai kind of tropes and stereotypes and thinking Mineta obviously would probably be into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, same.
But also it has become fuel on the spoiler alert by Neta internet bonfire. If you don't know what that bonfire is, essentially there's there's a panel where should I even say it? What do you think?
Let's wait.
Okay.
Let's hold on to that juicy little discussion. Like we're going to touch upon it here, but I think we could definitely reserve that for a bonus episode. Also, if you don't know what the Bineta Internet Bonfire is, but you somehow found this podcast, just be happy in your ignorance.
I mean, I'm impressed that you did manage to find us, but not the Bineta bonfire.
Yeah, TikTok has it everywhere. So
so if you're curious, go look, or if you're curious in the correct way, go read the manga.
Look, stop calling me out, okay?
If you would just catch up, I wouldn't have to call you out. Just saying. Anyway, all right. So basically the issue is that Mineta doesn't actually include this line in the dub. I feel cheated because he only calls Shoji a muscly octopus. But basically the fact that Mineta, like a known pervert when he comes to girl in this class, is calling Shoji a dude, kind of sexy in his own creepy little pervert way. We're not sure why the line wasn't included. It could be censorship for the international audience, which we know is a thing that happens. It could also just be a translation difference. The world may never know, but basically the Bineta bonfire started very early in the manga. So please catch up because it's a beautiful bonfire when you get to watch it with all the information.
Oh my God. It is so much fun. The content is
it's immaculate content.
I just realized you actually you're like, And the notes, Maria and everyone else. I didn't read this far.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep doing this until you read it.
Look, I'm already at my last wit. I cannot sit there.
Poor Maria. We're driving her into the ground.
I have so much going on, but I'm trying, I swear. For all of you listeners, I did the notes on this at the very last second. I've been dying. It's fine.
We are sending Maria straight back to bed when we're done with this recording.
Yes, more sleep and food and water for you, ma'am.
Yep, exactly.
Would you hate me if I told you I've been drinking Red Bull and vodka?
Babe.
Oh, man. You know what?
We're
recording our bonus episode later, and I might have to crack open something alcoholic to get through it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and finish this because it's nice and fun. And then we'll get to the bonus later.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah. So other than the sexy octopus line, there's only like tiny differences between the manga and the anime. For chapter 5, there is an adorable All Might keychain in one of the panels, which I don't know how I saw it, but it was just really cute. So I wanted to put it in. There's the panel with Denki's haircut, which is different than it usually is.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can go look at it. I think Horikoshi said he just forgets to include part of his hair sometimes.
He does have a lot to draw, so we'll give him that one.
Yeah, we'll give it to him. We also have Aoyama staring directly into camera, which we love. There is also Bakudeku versus Kiribaku panel, and I wrote these notes a while ago, so I don't know what I don't
know what you mean either. Do you mean that like Izuku and Katsuki are in like one shot and then it's different in the either anime or manga where it's
sure
and
yeah, maybe, I don't know. Listeners, go figure out what I meant with this note and let us know on Twitter or something.
Sounds good.
Anyway.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Also, Aizawa has apparently expelled 154 students, according to his file.
Jesus.
So he needs to calm down. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And then in chapter 6, we do get some silhouettes of pro heroes, including one I didn't actually recognize. So that's kind of nice that there is still a mystery to these older panels. And also the drawings of Aizawa here are arguably sexier, in my opinion, than in the anime. So that was important to include.
I approve.
I need to go back and compare.
Well, let us know what you think. All right. And then finally, we have our Easter eggs and fandom theory roundup. There's not really much to speak of in this episode. As always, like speech and commentary did remind me of Oboro and Shinso, but it wasn't direct at all. We also kind of got a nice side-by-side of his own character growth in the Vigilante spinoff. If you have read these and you go back and read these first chapters, it's just an interesting side-by-side. Aoyama is still kind of there, trying to insinuate himself into the other groups, which could be seen as traitory, which we mentioned in a previous episode. He's like up for one of the big subplots. But I kind of feel like he's just kind of a tool and also socially inept. So you can form your own opinions there.
Yeah, I personally am firmly and irrevocably in the none of the kids are a traitor camp because these are my babies, my literal children. I pushed them out myself. There was no epidural.
Oh, God.
And how dare anyone imply that any of them would do such a thing? And I know I'm setting myself up for heartbreak, but I am just going to push on in willful ignorance.
Yeah, especially in the latest episodes and the comparison that was drawn in a TikTok that I sent just to you, Wyatt, because it would have spoiled Maria.
I already know which TikTok you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm mad at that one too.
Yeah, you're mad at that one. We'll get to it.
Doesn't matter who people
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Because it has popped up on my TikTok, and I'm just like, okay, well, I guess my feelings are gonna be hurt. That's fine, whatever.
Yeah, oh God, I'm setting myself up
Yeah, we were.
The breakdown.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a lot of support.
Yeah, this subplot is going to kill all of us, no matter who it turns out to be.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
feel like if it ever comes down to that, we all just need to get together and watch the episode together and cry together.
Yeah.
That's the only
Okay.
way we're gonna be able to get through
Yeah.
it. But it's fine. It's fine. It's not the first time I've cried over an anime.
I mean, I bawl at the Camino arc and the Heroes Rising movie. So
Oh goodness.
I'm prepared to bawl again. I just don't
Yeah.
want to, damn it.
How many times can one show completely emotionally destroy us? We'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start like a
I'm-
counter.
If I'm going by Full Metal, a lot. Like every other episode.
Yeah.
Not even a joke.
Yeah. All right. Well, my final note is that Aizawa's expulsion habit, which is like it first comes up here and everybody's very confused and very concerned.
Yeah.
We learn it has a lot more information behind it than we know of. And it is like, it's not going to come back for a while, but just know that when you talk about Aizawa expelling everyone, it is going to make your heart feel warm and fuzzy. At least it does for me. So
Yeah, weirdly, he circles it back around.
yeah, and it's beautiful. So that's all I got.
Yep, I think I'm done too. Maria?
Yeah, we're good. All I know is I need to read, catch up, and cry, but it's fine.
Catch up and
Also-
cry is correct. All right. This has been My Hero Analysis. You'll hear us next week. And in the meantime, go beyond plus ultra and thirst responsibly. Bye, y'all.
Thanks again for listening. If you'd like to get in contact with us, have questions you'd like us to discuss on air, give topic suggestions for bonus episodes, or submit fan art for us to display, visit our website at myheroanalysis.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Just search for @myheroanalysis. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.